catch myself a lot saying American made when it comes to Power Rangers, like the first American made Ranger, referring to the Titanium Ranger or the A Squad or the Spirit Rangers. And of course, Power Rangers originated in California, but out of the 30 years of Power Rangers, 20 of those years have been spent in New Zealand, which you really have to wrap your brain around. The news that Power Rangers is leaving New Zealand has been around for a little while now, and it's really a huge detriment to the film industry in New Zealand, and it also affects the show Power Rangers itself. Movie franchises like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit brought a lot of work to New Zealand, and longer running shows like Hercules or Xena Warrior Princess definitely brought a lot of money in for New Zealand actors. But even those were only for a certain period of time. Most people would probably want to land a long-running character like on Shortland Street, the local soap opera. But even for some of those people like Siobhan Recurry or Tawila Bakley, after they're done with that show, then they moved on to doing Power Rangers. And other actors like Campbell Cooley or Kelson Henderson found work on Power Rangers seasons after seasons. Not only did New Zealand lose Power Rangers, but it also lost the new Lord of the Rings series on Amazon Prime, Lord of the Rings of Power. Production was told they weren't allowed to come into New Zealand because of the COVID restrictions. The show was supposed to last 10 seasons, meaning that their 10-season run, a decade worth of work, is now moved down to, well, you only got one season in, and they booked it to the UK. So as you can imagine, the industry is really hurting over in New Zealand. Power Rangers came to New Zealand at the start of the Disney era, and we quickly saw a large cast of local New Zealand talent. Ninja Storm had a big cast with Ho, Sally, Grant, Katrina, and Katrina. Dino Thunder had Emma, Miriam, Tom, and Ismay. SBD had John Toohey, Michelle Langston, Kelson Henderson. Mystic Force, we saw Nick Sampson, Peter Rutter, Holly Shanahan, and Jeff Dolan as Korag. Operation Overdrive, it did scale back slightly that season with Dwayne Cameron and Rhea Vandervis, but in Jungle Fury we saw a large cast as well with Anna Hutchinson, David D. Latour, BB Skinner, and Sarah Thompson. RPM brought Ari Bolin, Rose McIvers, Olivia Tennant, and Mike Jin. When the Neo Saban era came around, we saw a much smaller amount of cast members being New Zealanders, but after Samurai, Megaforce, and Super Megaforce, we came to Dino Charge, and we had once again a pretty large cast of New Zealanders. James Davies, Ryan Carter, Jared Blackenston, Reuben Turner, Alistair Browning, and Albert Smith. Ninja Steel had Zoe Robbins, Jordy Weber, Beast Morphers with Reed McGowan and Tawila Bakley, and then in Dino Fury we had Tisa Rayo, Jared Turner, and Torm Henge. I really think this is quite a loss for Power Rangers itself because the culture of New Zealand being so competitive for work, it's really benefited us a lot as fans because we have really, really great talent who all want to be on the show because they just want work. Recently, I got to interview Campbell Cooley, one of the longest running voice actors in Power Ranger history, and I talked to him about this very subject. Seen in New Zealand being such a smaller industry, do people seem to be a lot more positive about, you know, being on Power Rangers or having that opportunity?
General sense that I have, if you're an actor in New Zealand, you just take the work. You don't, it doesn't matter what it is or what you're doing, you just take the work because there's this much work and there's this many actors in New Zealand.
Yeah. Some people forget that Power Rangers isn't like a Marvel or Star Wars production, budget or something like that. I feel like Power Rangers has benefited from having more of a culture of like people just want to get some work. I think that's probably helped the franchise in the last 20 years that it just keeps rolling,
It's rolling along.
Some of the more recent females on the show who have played moms were both so famous in New Zealand that they were actually on Dancing with the Stars. Even someone at that level was willing to go on Power Rangers, and it really makes me think because back in the 90s when Power Rangers was in America, there really was a stigma with actors and being on the show. Amy Jo Johnson was on a talk show, and they start bringing up Power Rangers, and to be honest, it really looks like she did not want to talk about it or bring it up.
This is my Barbie doll.
See, some of these people might not know.
Oh, I was a pink Power Ranger.
But was that pretty fun to do?
Power Rangers? Sure, it was fun for a while, yeah. Reacting to big monsters and stuff, I don't know. It was fun. It was silly.
And then are you going to do more movies, you think?
I hope so.
Steve Cardenas has even mentioned that he wanted to try to get more work after Power Rangers, but no one would even give him a shot. And yes, Steve Cardenas wasn't a major actor. He was really a martial artist who just got on the show, and I have a whole video on him you should check out if you want to know more about him. But you really think about the fact that this guy was in a major motion picture on a TV show that grossed literally billions of dollars, and the industry wouldn't even look at him. They didn't even want him. And that is why New Zealand's market was so great for Power Rangers, because there wasn't a stigma. People just wanted to get the work, and it worked out in our benefit. Now, before I jump into speculations about where the show might be moving to, I really want to say thank you. For 20 years, New Zealand has hosted Power Rangers. I don't think the show would still be around if it tried to film in America after Disney took over. I think New Zealand was the perfect place to cultivate this franchise and to keep it running, because, you know, they wanted it to keep going. And so thank you to everybody who worked on the show. I know Power Rangers is pretty low budget. I'm sure there's days you didn't like going to work, as anybody would in their job, but I really thank you so much for making it such an incredible show and putting so many hours in to making all of us, our childhoods, and all of us who just love Power Rangers still to this day. Thank you. Thank you for everything you did and all the hard work. Where is Power Rangers going to move to? There's speculations all over the place. Nothing official has come out as of now. A couple places people have stated is Ireland, because there is a pretty large incentive for companies to come film over there. A lot of these countries will say, if you come here and however much you spend, so you give us the bill, you paid all our people, this much, and you did, catering, blah, 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 whatever it is, the government will actually give a percentage back. Even though the government is paying these people to come in, the actors are getting work, the actors are getting money, and it's really helping their industry out a lot. And New Zealand was really one of the top competitors, but in recent years, there have been more people, more countries who have been getting a little bit better as far as the incentive go. And Ireland, last I knew, was up to 35%, which was pretty high. Of course, we got a little bit of history with Power Rangers, sort of Power Rangers, Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog, or is it Mystic Knights? Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog. I can never remember. I mispronounced it in my very first video, and people raked me over the coals. It burns! But now I can't even remember, because I think it's Nog, like eggnog, right? That was Saban's first live action all original show that was completely Saban's idea. Some people have stated maybe Canada. There's lots of shows filming in Canada currently that are doing very well. It's a very close location too, so that anybody who is on the show, it's only like a couple hour flight to get back to LA. And so people could be on the show and then go make appearances on other things very easily, and it wouldn't be too crazy, and it would be a little more affordable than being actually in LA. But as fans, we have a couple other little branched off series like Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation that filmed in Canada, and Los Luchadores that filmed in Canada, and they were Saban shows at the time. If it does come back to America, I doubt that it's probably going to be in LA. Maybe Atlanta would be a good place. Of course, there's Ranger Stop over in Atlanta, Georgia, so that might be a good hosting place for it. And a lot of shows have been starting to film there, so maybe the industry would be a little bit smaller. Maybe more people would want to be on the show if it was in Atlanta, but I don't know. But my main prediction as far as where this show is going to be filmed is I really think that it's going to be filmed in the UK, because Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power are moving to the UK. They're not related in any way with production, but Jonathan Entwistle, who is, the guy really heading this project, is from the UK, and it might be a good way for him to stay. If he wants to stay in the UK, he can do the whole show, all the movies and everything right there. He did film The End of the Effing World, which is on Netflix. That's one of his major shows he did that was filmed in England. And Jenny Klein, who is also attached to the project, was a part of The Witcher, and that was recorded in a couple different places in Europe, but also the United Kingdom as well. Both Jonathan and Jenny have both filmed several things in the United States, so it's not for sure that they're definitely going to be in the UK, but they both are familiar with it to some degree, and if it's cheaper to film there, I really don't see Power Rangers returning to the US for filming, but I could be wrong. Who knows? It would be cool if it was in the US, just for the sake of there's a lot of conventions around here. Maybe it'd be great for the industry if people actually would take to it, but I don't know if they will. But regardless, it is going to be strange to see a new backdrop to Power Rangers. Auckland has been a huge part of Power Rangers. It's in every background of every scene, buildings and things that we see over and over again. So it's going to be very strange and a little sad to see it moving away. It's also sad to see some of the people who worked on the show not be with it any longer. One of those people that I've talked to recently is Campbell Cooley, like I mentioned earlier, and you should check out his interview now. I'm super proud of it. Campbell is one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. He is so great to the fans. So please check that out if you haven't already. Have a good one.
Bye.